I've just thought I'd pop on and give you a quick tutorial on how to blow dry your topper. I've already washed this one, so if you didn't check out, if you missed my washing a topper video, then go and check it out. I've shown you how to shampoo and condition a topper properly. This one is my one, so I've also got my extensions in as well. So this is my complete lion's mane. It's natural wavy hair, so this hair dries quite wavy, and I very rarely blow dry it because I usually leave it to dry naturally. But this time I'm going to be blow drying it because I want to do some big waves in it later. I'm going out tonight, so that's what it's going to be done for. It's a lace top, wefted back, about 8x8, quite a big topper. You know that I like it long, so I have to have it quite big. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll show you what products to put in and the stages of blow dry. So one of the most important things to remember is that each topper, whether it's silk or lace or monofilament, has knots, so the hair's all knotted in. The most important thing is that the hair does retain moisture, and the knots will retain moisture, which means that the knots will swell. So if they do swell and you're leaving it to dry naturally, then you will end up with hairs that are going to poke through the other side, or your hair system or your topper, it could end up shedding a bit too prematurely. So the most important thing that we do first, before we put any product in and before we pin it down, is we blow dry the mesh. So we're going to blow dry the mesh and the lace. I'm also using a Cloud9 hairdryer. You could use a cheaper one, but to be quite honest, you want something that's nice and powerful that can also blow dry your topper well. I do also recommend the Parlux ones. They're used by a lot of professionals, but I like the Cloud9. It's a bit heavy, but some people do use the Dyson as well. It's totally up to you what you feel comfortable with, but just get a good hairdryer. So that's probably about 80–90% dry. We don't want it completely dry because we still want to be able to get some tension on those knots and pull them nicely. So now I'm going to pin it to a head and we'll get drying. Right, so now we're ready to dry our topper and pin it to our head. So you're best to have some of these little dressmaking pins, the ones with the little bobbles on the end. You pin them into the mesh, and you can pin them into the wefts as well, or around the perimeter. Try not to pin too much into the lace on top because you might end up ripping the lace. So I'm just going to pin them right at the edges of my wefts around the perimeter. Don't pin them into the clips either. So you just need a few around the base. The hair's still wet. We're going to put our product in now as well. Put some heat protector in. So I don't like to overlayer my hair systems or toppers with too much product because you can end up weighing it down. So I'm going to be using this L'Oreal Pro Longer cream. It's a 10-in-1 professional cream and it has heat protector in it. It's also leave-in treatment, so this will give me everything that I need. I don't need to use too much of it. About a little pea-size amount on each side. So I'm just gonna bring that through mid-lengths and ends. Just a little bit on top. A little bit there. You want to make sure the hair's towel dried when you put this in. Don't put it in soaking wet hair because it's just going to take you ages to dry it, and the product is just going to end up coating it. So it's all in there. And I'm just going to give this a comb through with a long wide tooth comb, just to distribute the product through. What you want to do is just rough dry your hair till it's about 70% dry, and then we'll go in and use a brush. Put this on medium heat, make sure it's not too hot. Also, before you do dry, make sure your parting is in place. So you want to put your parting in place before you start drying your hair system or your topper, because the heat direction setting, if you want to change your parting, you would move it over that way, and then you'd need to heat set it. So if I did want to change it that way, I'd change it over, and you can see it's starting to lift up there, but you would want to use the hairdryer to heat set it in that direction, like that, and you can see it's flatter now. But I'm going to put it over there. So let's talk a bit more about the parting. I know this is something a lot of people do struggle with, is finding their parting and also setting it. So if you're unsure where your parting is and you have some sort of layers at the front, you want to bring your hair forward at the front and see where the layers meet in the middle, so where it dips. So where it dips, it kind of goes down that way and down that way. That's where I know my parting is. So then I can just open that up, and then you want to separate it so it comes down each side, and then each knot in there is obviously going to have its own direction, and to set those knots in one direction to stop them from going elsewhere, you want to use your hairdryer to heat set it. Or if you prefer more of a volumed look, what you can do is, which is what I'm going to do today for mine, because I like my system to look very voluminous. You can separate maybe an inch going round, kind of like a horseshoe shape. And I'm just going to separate this from the rest of the hair. So now we're ready to blow dry. So I'm just going to separate this hair out of the way. And I'm going to take each layer of panels. So we've got one layer there. And you're going to want to use a round brush, so a heated brush. And you want to hold it like that, and you want your hairdryer to go down the hair shaft. So there's no point blow drying it like this, like that, because you're just going to fluff up the hair. It's not going to look sleek. It's not going to have its cuticle closed. So to close the cuticle and to make it look nice and sleek and shiny, you want to aim the nozzle of your hairdryer going down the hair shaft like that. So that's what we're going to practice, going downwards. So down the hair shaft like that. You can also take more panels if you want, if you feel that that section's too thin. So I'm taking 2 panels here. You can see how lovely and shiny that is already. It's very, very shiny. So I'm going to quickly whiz through, drying the rest of it. Now onto the top. If you want a definite pattern and you want it to be quite flat and low volume, then you're going to want to blow dry each section going that way. But because I want quite a bit of volume on top, I'm going to blow dry mine as one. So I'm going to do it from the back. I want quite a lot of volume at the top of this. Let's turn it this way. So, as you can see, there's quite a bit of volume in those roots. There we go. And it's lovely and shiny. Look at that shine. So what I might do now is just take it off, just to make sure that the base underneath is fully dry. Just go over that with a hairdryer. You can see how lovely. It's very bouncy. So usually what I do is just to make sure the hair, the mesh is all dry. There we go. And then I can either keep it on the blockhead and straighten it or curl it, or I can just wear it like that. But I'm going to be attaching this and curling it to my head. So you can see the little layers there at the front. Beautifully layered. But a proper blow dry makes all the difference. Using the right products is really important, and a heat protector so that you're not burning your hair. But yeah, it's a lot more of a smoother effect than leaving it to dry naturally. I mean, this hair is curly, so if I left it to dry naturally, it would have gone wavy. But normal straight hair toppers, they can dry a little bit frizzy sometimes. So having a proper blow dry does make all the difference. I hope you enjoyed that video.